welcome to my channel. I'm Alexa. Today we're making chocolate brownie cookies. I measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find a full list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared. To start, I melted my butter. Now that it's melted, I'm going to add in my chocolate chips. I'm going to stir this with my rubber spatula until the chocolate is completely melted. My burner's off, but it's still very hot, so my chocolate is melting quickly. If your chocolate isn't melting, you can put on your burner at low for just a few minutes while constantly stirring. You never want to overheat your butter or chocolate because their properties will change to something not workable. If you choose to microwave your butter instead of using your stovetop, and it has cooled too much for your chocolate to melt, then you can microwave it for a few seconds at a time until it's warm enough to melt the chocolate. You can also use a wooden or metal spoon instead of a spatula if you'd prefer. Next, I'm going to sift my flour, cocoa powder, and baking soda. This is to make sure there are no clumps. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. When you're sifting, you can push the ingredients through using a rubber spatula or a spoon, or you can just tap the sides of it with your hands. If your sifter has a stand, you should tap the sides of it after it looks like all the ingredients have fallen through to make sure no ingredients are stuck. Today I'm not using a sifter with a stand, so I don't have to do this step. Now I'm going to add in my salt. I'm going to whisk this into my ingredients. If you don't have a wire whisk, you can use a fork. Next, I'm going to add in my eggs. Before I add my eggs into the mixing bowl, I'm going to scramble them quickly with a fork. This will let them combine better with my other ingredients. I'm going to scrape down my small bowl with my rubber spatula so I can get as much egg as I can. At this step, I'm also going to add in my sugar. I'm going to mix this for 4 to 5 minutes until it's pale yellow in color. Because some of the sugar is going up the side of the bowl, I'm going to quickly scrape it down using my rubber spatula. This will make sure any ingredients stuck to the bottom of the bowl are getting mixed in. Try to get there to be as little batter on your rubber spatula as possible because the batter left on the spatula will be harder to combine later as we add in more ingredients. Now I'm going to add in my chocolate chip butter mixture from before. Try to get as much of the mixture into your bowl as possible as to not waste any. To do this, I'm going to scrape it using my rubber spatula. I'm going to mix this until the chocolate is fully incorporated with my batter. I'm going to scrape down my bowl again to make sure all the ingredients are mixing in evenly and none are stuck to my bowl. Sometimes it can be helpful to use a second rubber spatula to scrape the batter off of your first one. It looks great, so now I'm going to add in my sifted dry ingredients. Sorry that my camera is a little shaky. I'm going to start my mixture on the lowest setting so my dry ingredients don't fly out of my bowl. Some of my dry ingredients are climbing the sides of my bowl, so I'm going to quickly scrape them down. As you can see, there are also some on the beater of my stand mixer, so I'm going to scrape those off of there too. I'm also going to make sure there are no non-mixed ingredients stuck to the bottom of my bowl. looks perfect, so I'm going to move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to scoop out my cookies. To do this, I'm using a 3 tablespoon ice cream scoop. If you'd like, you can also use a measuring cup. I like using an ice cream scoop because when you squeeze it, the cookies will come out in perfect circles and you don't have to roll them into balls afterwards. These cookies spread, so I place them about 2 inches apart. Next, I'm going to put my cookies into the oven. My oven's preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. My cookies took 16 minutes to bake. I'd recommend setting a timer for 10 minutes and another timer for a few more minutes after if they aren't done yet. When they're done, they should have a crackly crust on the outside. There should also be no parts of it that look raw or undercooked. If they're raw, it will look kind of wet. Place them on a cooling rack so they can cool. And our chocolate brownie cookies are done and looking delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy!